Welcome, dear viewer. If you're here, that means you are a fellow man of culture, and I'd greatly appreciate if you could hit the like and subscribe button really quick. We now start the journey that is filled with funny and crazy turns of events. This one is little spicy, hope you can handle spice. The story begins in a mystical land covered with red mist. In the midst of it, there's a house that might seem soulless and abandoned at first glance. We also have this lazy-ass owl, which is quite important to the storyline, lying on top of the tree. It is watching over someone more important. The protagonist of the story, Nya Xiaotian, who is so wasted right now. He is the owner of the Zuba system, a senior high school student and martial arts specialist. It wasn't always like this. He was totally different. It all started when he broke his leg just before the college qualification exam. He thought that his study career was over because he might have spent some time in the hospital and wasn't prepared for the exam. It was until he met an owl. The owl was the most mean-looking creature with the darkest aura possible out there. It flies towards the MC with its lazy eyes and smirk face and lands on his hand. The owl turned out to be a learning system in extremely common setting in a web novel. So, the owl told him that 1 year's study in the system world is equivalent to 1 minute in the real world. It seems like a very favorable situation. He thought that it would be extremely useful for the college entrance exam. So he didn't think twice, he just signed it for 500 years. 500 years means little more than 8 hours, it'll be like 1 night's sleep, he thought, so he was magically transferred to different space. After 100 years of hard work, he nearly had it all from science to philosophy. He learned everything that can be learned. However, there was a huge problem. He still has 400 years left. He panicked like he lost his mind. He had to get out of there, but the system said he couldn't leave unless he dies, and suicide isn't an option. If he'd known that, he wouldn't have signed for hundreds of years. For 100 years, his only companion was this black little donkey with shiny teeth and hair and braid. The only way he might get killed was for the donkey to kick him. So he hugs the donkey knowing it is the only way. For over a month, he kept getting it drunk, urging it to drink more and more. And who doesn't like to be wasted? The donkey was no exception. He even went to the length of training the donkey to aim at his head every day so it can form a muscle memory. He calls it Donkey Sister and shows exactly where to kick. So now, as you can see, he learned taijutsu, probably from Kakashi-sensei himself. He now uses the strongest form of it. Leaf Village Secret. Ultimate Taijutsu. 1,000 years of death jutsu. No way, he just digged that to a female donkey. And he got what he deserved. Nice and swift kick was served right to the face. He went flying just like ascension to heaven. The rocket fuel was coming out of his nose. He can finally die and rest his case in this world. Now he can return to the real world. He put an end to his story as the owl cheered him on. In the land that is covered with red mist, a voice of a woman could be heard from a distance saying the red mist looks horrifying to her master. Master informed that was because this place was one of the most dangerous places in the world. According to the legend, it is the place where the ancient god Yaishin was buried. Before his death, he summoned the red mist into the Forbidden Land. And this old man who was telling the story is Li Fingzi, 999 years old, the head of the Four-Leafed Musketeers. He went on with his story, telling back then there was a clan called Heavenly King. They were responsible of guarding this tomb of evil. Later, the emperor established the emperor's court, so this place became the emperor's forbidden land. Unfortunately, the emperor's reign has fallen 900 years ago. Ever since then, no one has ever guarded the tomb, said the old master as he sighed. Yu Buhui, disciple of Crazy Li, 16 years old, the second empress of the Four-Leafed Musketeers. Damn, she looks so hot. Pause the video, take your time to appreciate the artwork. I wait. So anyways, she asked about the gradual fading away of the red mist, and this means it might disappear completely someday. The junior sister asked what will happen when the red mist fades away? Will the Forbidden Land still be banned? The old master answered, not banned, but... And he became silent for a while. Surprised from long silence, sister said, but what? Wow, they are huge. No, I mean big, no. I meant tall, they are so tall compared to this old man. As he started his story about the prophecy of the emperor's dynasty. He used his sword without even touching it. Oops, that came out a little inappropriate, but you know I meant the actual sword as you can see in the picture. He skillfully used his sword as a pencil and the land as paper to wrote down something in Chinese that might be the actual prophecy. And he read that sky is filled with red fog and the ancient demons are sealed away. After the past life fades away, a new life will arise. Older sister said, the past life is gone, a new life will arise. Does that mean when the red mist fades away, the ancient demon god will be reborn? The old master agreed with her, saying that's exactly what it means, and put his sword back in its sheath. Brunette's sister said if that happens, the whole world will see great chaos and war. Almost dead Gramps replied calmly, so what? When exactly did this world know peace? Personally, I think that might be true, cause he's been around almost 1,000 years. As they gazed at the sunset, younger sister asked the master if he knew the last empress, since he knew about the prophecy. The answer was of course he knew the last empress. The donkey has been running for a long while as she gets tired, but still haven't left the forbidden land of the red mist. Since its master personally fed the immortal wine for a whole month, the rich flavor of the wine unexpectedly created a magical phenomenon. The phenomenon no soul has ever expected. I've seen a dog, a cat, or even a gorilla turned into a human in anime, but donkey, oh no. Well, it turned out way better than expected. So smash. Next. So what? Don't judge me, I know she's a donkey. Who cares? Who cares, brother? Today, we smash. Okay. She's surprised and embarrassed that suddenly her master poked her in the back as Kakashi did to Naruto with ass-poking jutsu. She excitedly runs as the first day of the Lunar New Year is always a festive day. She finally came to the edge of the Forbidden Land so she can stop the thunderstorm that might disturb the master that's been knocked out cold. Oops, spoilers alert. She wondered if the song that her master often sings can alleviate the pain of the thunderstorm. Then she proceeds to sing the song. Outside of the forbidden land of Red Mist, Master Li and his two disciples were camping with campfire to keep them warm. All of a sudden they heard someone was singing. They were dazzled by the song because every word sounded magical, just like the songs of mermaids in the fairy tales. As they listened to the song more, they figured that it was coming from the inside of the forbidden land. Two sisters discussed that they never heard of this melody before. Damn. They are so big. I mean so hot, they're so hot, let's just not stray away. You can pause the video and take your time to appreciate the artwork. As a fellow man of culture, I promise there are more to come. As one of the sisters tried to comprehend the song, believing it must be some kind of celestial music, she felt the charm in the song. As the golden aura surrounds her, she sat down and started to cultivate immediately. She said the charm of the song gave her a feeling of enlightenment. She seemed like she was about to have breakthrough. Thanks to the cameraman's hard work, we get to see her from all the angles and finally get her intro. She's Lu Xie, 15 years old, a beginner swordsman. Dang. She's a minor. Everybody check your door, the FBI agents are waiting outside. She finally broke through. It was clear from the golden aura she was emitting. These two are at awe from this phenomenon. It seems that they now know exploring the forbidden land can truly bring opportunities. Oh man. This camera angle is something else. Yet this old man found this opportunity too strange, as his face revealed awe and confusion. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you. Our donkey girl has been singing this song all night and surprised why the transformation thunderstorm didn't come and wondered if her master's song also has the power to resolve the thunderstorm. The song is very powerful even in our world too. By that time, the red mist was already dispersed. She was standing in the sun. Lu Xie already noticed the disappearance of the red mist as well as the women in front of her, saying could it be her who sang all night long. The donkey girl also noticed three of them, especially the girl waving at her. She energetically asked, "Miss, what song were you singing? Can you tell me the title?" But our donkey girl was scared because they're human cultivators. Afraid that they might kill her, she run back to her master as soon as she can. As they wake up, they asked why junior sister was making so much noise early in the morning. Senior sister calls the old man and tells him that red mist has dispersed. Surprised master says this is not good. Not paying attention to any of that, however, Xia rode on his sword and started chasing the donkey girl. While jumping on their swords, senior sister and master screamed, "Come back quickly, do not trespass in the forbidden land, it is dangerous." Yet it was too late for her and she's already gone so far, so both of them had no other choice but to follow her. Inside the forbidden land of red mist, under the shade of a tree, maybe because he was knocked out last night, our MC was sleeping hard as the wine jars were still around. The donkey brayed as hard as she could, running towards her master. He woke up from her loud noise. But he was unhappy and confused because he didn't die. That even confused the donkey too. 3 strangers was flying in as the MC let the truth sink in that not only he didn't die but also the red mist disappeared and the world is so big. 2 sisters and their master had their time of realization of that the singing lady was a donkey demon. But there's a living person hiding in the forbidden land and also that person had an extraordinary aura. He might be the person mentioned in the prophecy. The MC was surprised of 3 people who were flying on swords, guessing this could be the world of cultivation. After he saw the people, the MC thought that he was deceived by the broken system. His idea about this world was only small place around the house. And now he doesn't have to worry because it'd be so much easier in this cultivation world to find a few powerful people to kill him. He's happy that he's now closer to achieving his goal of dying and returning to the original world. The old master thought that if this person is a truly reborn ancient demon god, they must kill him as soon as possible while he's still weak, otherwise he might be the greatest threat to humanity. But he doesn't look weak. In the mind of the old man, the MC looked like a demon lord who was about to destroy the world. He wonders if they can take down the demon because his cultivation was damaged by half and he only have 1 year left to live, but her disciples are still young and this would require careful consideration. The donkey tried to provoke them because now she was safe behind her master. Brunette was about to show her moves, but her master stopped her from attacking. But the MC was so excited to see her moves. "Aren't we? All?" And the donkey was still trying to provoke them for drawing the sword in front of her master. Old master believed killing the demon god needed a solid plan. He proceeded to introduce himself. He's Li Fingzi, a wandering cultivator, and asked the MC how to address him and assuming if he's a Taoist friend. The MC told him that there's no need to be so polite and that he's Nya Xiaodian, just an ordinary mortal, and he wouldn't call himself Taoist. He wondered about how he can make them attack and kill him, or should he just invite them to his house and wait until an opportunity present itself. Finally, he proceeded to invite them for a cup of tea, telling them since he didn't have guests often, everywhere was messy. Master Li kindly accepted the offer on the surface, but actually he was thinking, if you don't enter the tiger's den, how can you catch the tiger's cub? And take a look at this demon's liar. 2 masters went in and the rest just followed, but they were still worried. They immediately made themselves at home. They were sitting in the chair and checking out the interiors. The MC, Nya, left happily to make some food for the guests and hoping that his plan might work out. He quickly left the room, but the donkey girl was waiting and looking at the room with smirk on his face. The guests who were left in the room could clearly feel the immense amount of spiritual energy. The brunette said to the old master that the spiritual energy in the room is more abundant than those blessed lands and immortal realms. The junior sister agreed, and if they can cultivate here, their progress will surely be twice as fast. Yet Master Li showed concern, and for him it is always good to be cautious and guard against strangers. Moreover, since he has a donkey demon, yet the MC is probably not a good person. The donkey girl was listening all of their conversation and she transferred into a human form, said how amusing was their conversation. Her master's immortal techniques were so profound, how can mortals can see through them? The pretty senior sister didn't take the insult lightly and replied, "You bold donkey demon, I have never seen a monster like you so audacious." She drew her sword with anger. Damn, she is still so adorable with even angry face like this. No, I am not a simp. I just appreciate the art. The donkey girl was just amused of the fact that just a mere second-rate swordsman dared to draw a sword at her. And she's not just a donkey girl anymore. Her name is Mu Dang Qi, 100 years old, for leaf swordsman of the demon race. Finally, we have her name. Calling her the donkey girl was so uncomfortable and scary, especially when she just can bend the sword like that. It is the nightmare of every man. Imagine someone bending your sword like that, ha 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 ha, just joking. Yao, the senior sister, was so surprised that she bent the sword just like that. Mu, the donkey girl, explained why she escaped this morning because she was afraid of human race. However, that doesn't mean that she can't defeat two little girls. However, Lucia tried to explain that it's a misunderstanding. They didn't want to kill her, she just wanted to ask about the song. Depressed masterly from the situation that the donkey demon reached the same level as him and terrified of the MC's cultivation level. He told the girls not to disrespect because they were here as guests. Mu praised the old man for being sensible and bent the sword back to its original state and with her spiritual energy put the sword back into the sheath. Yoa was so surprised and scared at the same time, shaking from the sheer power of this powerful monster. Mu warned the guest about leaving after they finish eating and not to disturb her and her master anymore. Otherwise they'd regret it. She farted in the room and ran away. Damn. Her gas is green, that's disgusting. I think donkey is still a donkey even after 100 years. Hope any of you guys aren't watching this while eating, ha 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 ha. Lu, the junior sister, said even her fart is extraordinarily stinky. I feel your pain, young sister, even I feel bad as a storyteller. The MC made some food that was made of the vegetables left at home and brought it to the table. He's the culprit of eating all the meat dishes. But he's happy to share some wine. They could drink as much as they want, and that's the wine that transformed Mu, the donkey girl, into human earlier than anticipated. Yet he's not sharing the wine out of kindness. His plan was to get the guests drunk and it'd be easier for them to kill him accidentally. The smell of the food immediately took the guests under its spell with such nice scent. All of them were drooling and the essence of Tao in the food was incomprehensible. It even numbed the reasoning of the old master. He now thinks the food doesn't contain any poison, and if the MC wanted to kill them, why would he even poison them? He served the guests some mapo tofu. It's the best when poured over rice. He's not wrong, it's delicious even in real life. But she didn't know what tofu is. He kind of explained what tofu is. It's a kind of food made through alchemy, like how people refine pills. She said, is it a kind of elixir? He replies that it's true because the person made the first tofu was an alchemist. Since the food was delicious, she really liked it. You can clearly see that because she's already started gobbling up. Senior sister also liked the food, calling it delicious. The old master sighed that his foolish disciples forgot to be cautious. Even he tells to be cautious all the time. Our MC wanted to raise a cup to their meeting, so they went kanpai. Well, that's Japanese, but still works, right? They all had a good feeling about the immortal wine that has the essence of spiritual energy and is so fragrant. But only Nye had different thoughts. That once they got drunk they could kill him and this would be his last meal. Suddenly they started to have their advancement in cultivation. Junior sister Lu advanced to middle stage from beginner. Master's Li's old injuries started to heal. However, our lovely waifu senior sister was feeling little dizzy. She probably got drunk after just a sip. It was clear because her face was all red. All of a sudden she lost control because of dizziness in her head, but the MC saves the day by quickly reacting to the situation. He held tightly from her hips, best position to go for a kiss. But her eyes literally started to glow and the sword left the sheath. He was kind of excited that she got drunk quickly and about to go crazy from the alcohol. Looking at the situation, he's about to die in a literal sense. I mean, who wouldn't? She's glowing like Goku glows when the shit is about to go down. Great, now is his chance, since the sword is already on his neck. Buhui lost control and was glowing with golden aura just like Goku does when he screams. The divine sword was right on the neck of MC, ready to slice it. Younger sister screamed that senior sister has gone out of control again with worry on her face. However, the old master stopped her, saying that she don't have to panic. It was because he was thinking that every breakthrough of Bu Hui lead to loss of control and her combat power would double in a short time. Moreover, when she lost control, it triggered the spirit sword protector. Perhaps they could take the opportunity to test the depth of the MC's power. Meanwhile, she was scanning MC's ugly-ass face with her glowing eyes. Can't believe he actually made this face even though he was waiting for the sword to just slice his neck. But Donkey Girl was right outside of the room watching the situation escalate. She didn't like them for daring to wield a sword against his master. She rushed in and kicked the sword kung fu style, shocking everyone including the MC. That was something no one expected. She kicked the sword so hard. First it cracked and then was shattered into pieces. Buhui's sword was no ordinary weapon, but it was broken just like that. Disappointed Donkey Girl called human cultivators shameless for disrespecting her master in such a way. Yet the MC was more shocked of what kind of shoddy sword it was that actually was broken by a dumb donkey. Was it actually safe to roam the martial world with a sword like this? Buhui started to move, holding his neck tighter, confusing the MC, leading make his dumb face. She wasn't feeling well. Her face was emitting dark aura and she was ready to vomit. And boom! She threw up rainbow right at his face. Best way to make someone to fall in love with you. He was flabbergasted and a little scared that she just took a sip of divine wine and now she started coughing blood. So the rainbow was actually blood. Just for censorship reasons or something. He let go of her and she fell to the ground. She was in dire condition, so it is not the time to pause it and enjoy the artwork. Wink wink. They were so worried of Bu Hui and were screaming it to wake up while the MC was standing dumbfounded. He was totally thinking different stuff. She thought that these three might be scammers and were trying to scam him. He hoped that they could kill him first, but things are turned out differently. So he thought that at least he has been studying with the academic system for 100 years. He learned almost all the knowledge in the world, whether it is a real illness or a scam, his medical skills wouldn't deceive him. He screamed while making his JoJo face, "Step aside and let me diagnose her." He took his set of needles to perform acupuncture. He took her wrist and started to analyze her condition. It was yin-yang separation, yin withering and qi depletion and spiritual detachment. It's quite a serious condition. The old master confirmed his words that Bu Hui had this condition since birth and had been suffering from this all this time. He decided to try to treat her and asked help to remove her shoes and socks, expose her feet, legs and waist with a serious look on her face. So you guys can know the shit is about to go down right now. Oh, men of culture, make sure that your doors are locked. That's a warning. The junior sister started to take off her shoes and socks. Oh boy, don't say I didn't warn you. For now, forget everything and just enjoy for a moment. He found her acupoints that helps to regulate qi and blood flow on her body and relieve stagnation. Another acupoint on her knees that can strengthen qi and assist yang. Next was her waist that can restore yang and secure the leakage. Damn, look at that. Should I be a doctor? Please convince me in the comments not to do it if you want to keep this manhwa recap going. Last point was right under her nose. With the final needle, she opened her eyes and energy of life came back to them. Junior sister was so happy and screamed that her senior sister was awake now. Man, is she really a minor? Look at her. On the other hand, the MC was impressed that all the knowledge from 100 years turned out to be quite diverse. He never thought that acupuncture would work on so well on these cultivators. Bu Hui asked what kind of needle was on her nose that it felt so comfortable. But the old master said her that there's no need to worry about what it was as long as healed her and for now she could just relax. This ghost needle technique was said to have been created by the ancient deity. The old master saw it once when he was young in the imperial palace. Right now he couldn't care less if it was a legitimate or forbidden technique as long as it could cure his disciple's illness. He said that it was Bu Hui's good fortune that she met Mr. Nie, who had exceptional medical skills. But MC was just happy to help. She thanked him with such an innocent and grateful face. You can see that she's really thankful. He felt little embarrassed and said that it's a small matter, not worth mentioning. Being able to do a good deed makes learning medical skills worthwhile, he thought. It's just a pity that he didn't die this time and wondered how he should go about seeking death next time. In the middle of the room, they were sad and discussing about the broken sword. Bu Hui said that it was all her fault and she was sorry about it. But MC tried to take the burden of blame and said that it was because of his incompetence to control his subordinate because of that her sword was broken. In the end, it was his fault as a master for not training his donkey properly. He felt deeply ashamed. Bu Hui asked his master that even though the blade was broken, it still shared a lot of time with his disciple. So, if it was all right to give it a proper burial so it can have a dignified farewell. The old master agreed and said that she always considered the sword as her close companion. Now that it's broken, he would understand that she was upset. Then she asked MC if she could borrow some wine to honor her friend. He replied that there's no problem, but would just wine be enough? He immediately pulled out a piece of paper from his drawer and formed his body to concentrate. He needed all the concentration out there. He took his brush and said that in his hometown having wine and poetry was the best way to bid farewell to a friend. He started writing poetry on the paper. But the three cultivators who were watching started to drool and was impressed by every stroke, word, and sentence of him. He finished writing and proudly handed over the paper to the senior sister and said that the scroll of calligraphy and poetry was his way of expressing apology as well as showing respect to the divine weapon. She proceeded to wrap the sword with the scroll, saying to have the sword accompanying poem, it should be happy to. The sword started to glow all of a sudden. The old master bowed a little and asked that if they could stay over the night because it would be so late after they bury the sword. He answered that Mr. Li didn't need to be so polite. He had plenty of empty rooms in his mansion. They could even rest for a few more days before leaving. But in their minds they were both planning to take advantage of each other. The old master was thinking that they could stay and observe his power, and the reason why he treated Bu Hui was also unclear as well. While MC was planning to make a situation that he could be killed. In the middle of the night, MC was sitting right in front of the newly made grave, having some peaceful time. To think she really built a grave for her sword, she is quite a peculiar girl. He was telling that the sword was at peace now, so he also needed to find a way to end things around here. He used to be martial arts student, but everything was changed at that day. Back then he tried to save a stranger, as a result he broke his left leg. Actually, he was about to get isekai'd to another world by Truck Kuin. Clearly Truck Kuin failed and the owl brought him to another world. As a form of gratitude for listening his life story, he decided to show some martial arts moves to the sword, thinking just poem itself wouldn't be enough. He started move as the golden aura formed a dragon around him. Clearly he got so strong during the span of 100 years. The junior sister woke up and was looking for the restroom, but suddenly she felt a refreshing breeze. She saw that the courtyard gate was open and the wind coward with golden aura was coming from that way. She peeked from the edge of the door and saw the MC practicing his martial moves. However, she has no idea about the type of the martial arts, even though it carried a strong sense of Tao. She decided to ask her senior sister and said that Mr. Nie can cause natural phenomena with just a set of martial art moves, and martial arts also exhibits Tao. Senior sister touches her belly. Wait, is she pregnant? Already? No way. Oh wait, she was just feeling the flow of strong Tao from the places that he practiced acupuncture. Meanwhile, MC was still practicing and was thinking that even though he hadn't practiced martial arts in 10 years, he was still proficient enough, and it definitely felt smoother and more comfortable than it was in the past. He was so in the flow that he created yin and yang from his Tao and shot it right into the sky, making a tunnel-like shape in the sky. He got huge thunder as response from the sky, and he was immediately flabbergasted, falling to the ground from the surprising appearance of thunder. The thunder directly hit a huge tree, electrifying it. The tree was split into two and started burning. The flames were all over it. He was so scared that such a big tree just got struck down like that. If it hit a person, they'd turn to dust in an instant. Something snapped in his brain. He got a brilliant idea. You can even see the idea light bulb on his head. In senior sister's room, junior sister were showing martial arts of the MC, trying to find the hidden insight that might help them. Boy, oh boy, what a sight to see. Then Bu Hui petted her junior sister on the head. I want to pet her too, man. She said that Mr. Nei's strength didn't seem as simple as they thought. and the essence of martial arts was something that can only be exhibited by those who deeply comprehend it. Her cultivation was still low, so she might not be able to do it yet. The donkey girl who was lying next to their window and listening to their conversation got annoyed. She transformed to her beautiful human form and said that her master was so powerful, how can these little girls possibly steal his skills? The set of moves her master used earlier was called Tai Chi. Although it looked slow and relaxing, it's quite mesmerizing when performed, and it felt too good. After that demonstration by her master, she got the itch of curiosity on her body and run away to find a place to practice martial arts. She came to the edge of the mountain and started to practice what her master was practicing as a martial art. She was exactly doing the moves that her master did, as they were in the same mind. She was punching and kicking, emitting huge amount of Tao energy. Meanwhile, vast and dark clouds started to form in the sky, ready to storm the earth. The spirit of thunderclouds was still recovering from the blast of spiritual energy that created a big hole in the sky. He was so scared that he threw a thunderbolt down and was still confused. The cloud hand points towards earth, indulging him to take a look. He opened a hole in the carpet of clouds and looked at the earth. He was so surprised of what he just saw. A donkey that can transform, but he still had no idea. He was wondering if she blocked her fate to avoid thunder tribulation. Whether she was hiding or not, now that she's successfully transformed, she's trying to show off. He thought it was her who attached him just now. It made him so pissed. He gathered huge amount of thunderbolt and struck the earth with it from the clouds. Meanwhile, the MC was waiting for the lightning to struck him at the top of the mountain, holding iron pot over his head to get the full power. He was so angry that he was ignored. He was standing there holding the pot to attract lightning, questioning why it didn't hit him. Could they just ignore the principles of weather in the cultivation world? He had an idea. It wasn't fully shaped, so he run around making a circle to get the rest of his idea. The idea was that since it was a cultivation world, it was all about doing some weird stuff like making vows, otherwise you'd get struck by lightning. He vowed that he's pick up girls and bang them all together and become the king of the sea. Look at his dream. He has a dream just like any other men. Right now is the best time to pause. Just pause. His tactic actually worked and the lightning hit near his feet. He understood his condition and started to swearing everything, and if he didn't do it right away, the lightning could hit him. However, at the edge of the mountain, the donkey girl was dodging the strikes skillfully. It made the spirit so angry. He said that he was at it for so long yet still can't hit the target. This time he launched full-scale attack to get her, and he could definitely get it done this time, so he would eat donkey meat buns tonight. Since the MC was swearing for a long time on everything, the lightning bolt changed its trajectory and came right at his face. He was so happy that finally the lightning successfully hit him this time, and it'd absolutely kill him. He'd finally succeed. He was satisfied and ready to bid his farewell to this world with the help of the thunderbolt. He stood there waiting for his end. The lightning finally hit him, making a huge explosion at the top of the mountain. Even the mountain top was shattered into pieces, let alone the person who was on the way. No one would stay intact after receiving that explosion. A beautiful morning came. There are only few clouds in the blue and clean sky. There stood the grave of the sword in the front. The old master just woke up and remembered what happened last night. Last night he went out to take a leak, but was scared by the huge number of lightning strikes, calling it a terrifying heavenly tribulation. Buhui called her master, however the old man was daydreaming about how terrifying was last night. Her voice gave him shivers, shaking his body to the bone, and got some goosebumps. She explained that last night she was trying to comprehend, but suddenly she sensed the arrival of a heavenly tribulation, and it made her worried that if the person who was undergoing it was the old master. He assured that the heavenly tribulation wasn't there for him. He was so terrified that he curled up in his bed like a baby and was shaking all night long. He got the goosebumps and sweats all over his face just remembering it. Senior sister asked that the heavenly tribulation from last night seemed extraordinary, so whether the old master had any idea about its origin and why it appeared here. It was the ninefold thunder tribulation capable of destroying a region's land and water. It said that it only descends when an extraordinary individual who is born to rectify chaos is present. Legend has it that when this heavenly tribulation arrives, regardless of whether the cultivator successfully crosses it, the area within 100 miles turns into scorched earth and no grass grows for 100 years. Junior's sister was so impressed, and she had no idea that the thunderstorm was really that severe. She was busy trying to replicate MC's martial arts. The old master said that the ninefold thunder tribulation hadn't descended in 1,000 years. Even the old master knew its existence from some ancient texts. After all, heavenly tribulations were common, but extraordinary individuals who could attract the ninefold thunder tribulation were virtually unheard of. The junior sister screamed that Brother Nia was back. Boo-hui blushed, her cheeks were red as an apple. How cute! The old master started to sweat because he knew who was behind the heavenly tribulation. He walked in asking if they were already awake. He was in total mess. His clothes were burnt down and he had the burnt smell on him. But he gave awkward simile while holding the pan that he used to attract the lightning last night. The two girls were so happy to see him as they greeted him with a warm and welcoming expression. He was also concerned with Boo-hui's condition. He asked if she was feeling better and her injuries were all right now. She happily answered that after he treated her yesterday, her injuries were almost healed and she was so grateful for what he had done for her. He was also happy to hear that she was doing all right, but also added that she needed to get some more rest. And in another 2 days she'd be fully recovered. As he finished saying that, Junior's sister eagerly called his name and pulled his burnt sleeves or the remaining of whatever left his sleeves. She excitedly asked if he saw the thunderstorm last night. It was so loud and kept striking them. Her master said it was the ninefold thunder tribulation. It's supposed to be extremely formidable. He responded that the name of the storm sounded intimidating. But what they had experienced last night probably wasn't that heavenly tribulation. The voltage was too low. He got struck all night, and he just felt numb all over, nothing more. His words hit the old master as an arrow, giving him emotional damage. The emotional damage was too deep that he lost control of his mind. He blamed him for hiding his identity at that point and wanted him to stop pretending and admit that the thunder tribulation was caused by him. However, everything was the old man's head. He couldn't dare to say it out loud. The old man thought that the demon Lord Mitian truly lived up to his name. Even though he hadn't fully regained his strength yet, he's still fearless in the face of the ninefold thunder tribulation. To think that he could face the ninefold thunder tribulation shortly after his rebirth. Once he regains his past strength, it seemed he would have control over this world. He needed to be eliminated before he regains his true power. He fell to his bed. He became white as snow. Everyone was so worried about his well-being. However, the reason was that he was so excited last night, thinking he might get struck by lightning, and didn't sleep at all. Now he was back. He felt so tired all of a sudden. He explained that he was just tired because he was busy last night. A short rest was all he needed. He would totally be fine after he rested. He'd make something delicious for them when he woke up. He promised that even if he could barely move his body and it was already shaking from too much fatigue. The old man saw the opportunity and took his chance to suggest that if he's not feeling well today, perhaps he should just rest and let the old man to show off his culinary skills and take care of today's lunch. I personally don't know what's going to happen right now. However, two sisters made this shocked face right after that they heard that the old master was about to cook. They definitely knew the shit was about to go down. The MC was kind of relieved after hearing that the old man would cook, but he still asked if it wouldn't be too much trouble for the old master. He passed the pan to the old man, who gratefully accepted it and said it would be his way of repaying MC's hospitality in these past 2 days. The old master asked Boo-hui and Sierra to help him out in the kitchen. They shivered and had cold sweats and goosebumps all over their body. The junior sister started crying, hugging her sister's foot, saying last time when their master roasted the rabbit, she took one bite and couldn't get out of the bed for 3 days. This time she wouldn't be able to eat for 3 months. He hit her with the pan to her head, leaving a bump, and he angrily left, saying how she dared to question his master's culinary skills. She would eat to the fullest this time. After a while, they were listening carefully at the kitchen door, trying to figure out what their master was up to and what kind of food he was making. The old master was cooking chicken soup and it was looking fine. It was something edible until he showed his true purpose for taking up the challenge of cooking food. He pulled out a bunch of different poison with the evil laugh on his face and radiated dark aura. He poured all the poison into the food he was making and said he probably couldn't confront Tian head-on with his current strength, but poisoning him should work just fine. He was hoping that his poison could finish the MC off and the MC could only blame himself for his arrogance for letting him cook. After he mixed everything all at once, the food started to glow and boom! It exploded, shattering the door and tossing two sisters to the ground. After explosion, the remaining of the food and all the ingredients were all over the place. The old man was lying in the middle of the kitchen with the ingredients over his bod. He couldn't understand how it happened. A while passed, two sisters were putting on bandage on his wounds all over his body while he was contemplating on the pan, thinking that the pan could be the culprit behind the explosion. All of a sudden, the spirit of the heavenly tribulation right before his eyes. And he was too stunned to do anything. The only thing in his mind was that Tian intentionally attracted the ninefold thunder tribulation last night with the purpose of sealing its power into this iron pot. Now, the iron post has become a terrifying top-tier artifact. Turning an ordinary item into a top-tier artifact not only gives it astonishing power but also catches opponents off guard. The explosion just now was triggered by the old master, causing a leakage of the artifact's power. The MC walked in saying that he heard an explosion, so he came to check if everything was fine or if there's a problem. The old master got so scared, so he jumped out of his place after he heard the MC's voice. But it actually looks like he farted so hard that he seemed like flying. The old man assured that there's no problem, he wasn't paying attention for a moment and got a minor injury. But he actually got hurt really bad in the explosion. The sisters contradicted the master, saying that if it really was a minor injury. Even the MC was having a hard time believing it. But the old man didn't back down and said if he said it's a minor injury, then it's a minor injury. The MC was thinking that it was just an ordinary kitchen. The old man couldn't have accidentally blown up the kitchen and almost become paralyzed. He imagined that experts often have hidden injuries or internal injuries and the leakage in their power might cause explosions. He just concluded with that. Worried MC said that the old man didn't seem like he was taking it lightly, so he suggested that MC should take a look at old man's injuries. But stubborn old man refused it, saying that it was fine. But two sisters had different opinion, believing that he wasn't alright at all. They said that even though Mr. Nye was just a mortal, his skills in medicine was exceptional. Master's health was the most important, so he should listen to the MC. Suddenly, Buhui fell on her knees and held her belly hard. Probably it was hurting on her belly. Hopefully she's not pregnant. Actually, it didn't hurt, but she had a sensation of energy flowing through her whole body. They put her to the bed for the MC to properly inspect her. I bet she was feeling something that she never felt before. You can see it on her face. He pulled out a needle from her belly with an awkward face, saying that he left the needle there yesterday when he was giving her acupuncture. It was the reason for stimulation of her chi and blood and caused the reaction on her body. He forgot to remove the needle. They were relieved when they heard it was just because of the needle. They thought that she got sick again just like yesterday. But our cute girl had different idea about the situation. Look how lovely she is. She said that if it weren't for the MC yesterday, she might have been seriously injured. The unintentional mistake was probably due to yesterday's distraction. Hence, he shouldn't blame himself for it. He was fine with it as long as she didn't blame him, and he laughed awkwardly and scratched back of his head. Something came to his mind suddenly and he rushed off to the outside, saying the old master probably wasn't familiar with the kitchen, so he himself would make the breakfast for everyone. He made the breakfast as soon as possible and brought it to the dining table. He put the food in the bowls and served them to his guests. The old man was so surprised because the porridge was glowing. It looked simple, but it was naturally pure, like the essence of heaven and earth. It definitely wasn't ordinary porridge. They had never seen such food that's full of pure essence. It looked so exotic and delicious. They were drooling over it, but old man was suspicious as always, thinking if the MC was trying to win them over by making delicious food. Buhui suddenly dropped her food and started to shake while holding her belly tight. Others were worried that her injuries from yesterday were acting up again. However, she was fine. She was just about to break through. Oh my people, this is the moment that you've been waiting for. Pause the video if you like or take a screenshot or something. This is a historical moment. Isn't she gorgeous? That's so thick, I mean thick. Something on her forehead started to glow. It was just 2 leaves at first, but later the 3rd shining leaf appeared on her forehead. The meaning of that was that she became mid-staged 3-leaf sword artist. In simple terms, she got thicker. 2 of them got excited and were happy for her to be able to break through this time, unlike yesterday, especially she just jumped from 1 leaf to 3 leaves. He knew that just the porridge itself wouldn't be enough to do that. So it was the result of number of events that happened since yesterday, starting from acupuncture to the porridge. The old man, who just realized the situation, slowly approached the MC after eating all of the porridge all at once and shouted that he just ate the porridge and now he felt a little uncomfortable and asked for him to give some acupuncture. He was sure that he could break through if he did that. Confused and worried, MC timidly said that he would be happy to help. But he was thinking that the old man was scared to death just now and he's asking acupuncture voluntarily. Could he be trying to take advantage of the situation? The old man's actions were little suspicious. You can hear that the old man was having his time of lime for trying to deceive the MC. 2 sisters were outside getting sick of their master's screams. They were already so annoyed by the endless calls of help. The session was finally over. However, the old man was covered in needles and was shaking nonstop from the pain. It was because he had some hidden ailments. The MC suggested it'd be best if the old man could have acupuncture every day for the next few days. The old man was scared to death when he heard he had to endure this for upcoming next 9 days. But the MC explained that the old man was fortunate that the MC discovered the hidden ailments on his body, otherwise they'd cause huge problems in the future. Although it wasn't guaranteed that the old man would get healed completely, but it'd help him to recover immensely. The old man gave up on his life, crying that he had to endure this pain for 8 more times. The MC was surprised of the old man's actions. He lied down and started mumbling that 9 consecutive days of acupuncture was like facing the 9-fold thunder tribulation. The MC was listening to what he was saying and asked if he was talking about the thunderstorm from the last night. It sounded fierce, but after experiencing it, it's not that big of a deal. The old man explained him carefully that the scariest thing about the 9-fold thunder tribulation was that it'd descend for 9 consecutive days on the same person. Not only that, every time it comes, its power would be twice as powerful as the previous night until the 9th day. However, the thunder on 9th day would be far more powerful than the combined power of the previous 8 days' thunder. Just 1 strike could reverse the earth veins and turn a 1,000-mile plain into wasteland. It'd take thousands of years to recover. According to the ancient texts, 9-fold thunder tribulation had occurred only a few times in the past 10,000 years, yet no one was able to withstand the first 5 days of tribulation. He thought to himself that the world of cultivation was truly bizarre. It even had thunder tribulations that strikes every day, with each day strike doubling in power. Isn't this like the thunder tribulations having their own independent thoughts? You wouldn't find this in cultivation novels. Something snapped in his brain while he was doing the math of the doubling power of the thunder tribulation. Tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, there still would be thunder tribulation and they'd be even more powerful. He was excited, thinking that today's thunder tribulation would be more intense. That meant he would still have chance to die, especially with doubled power. He was already dreaming about it. Old man was surprised that the MC didn't show that much of a reaction to his detailed explanation of the tribulation and the danger that it'd bring. That's why he shook him so hard, hoping the MC would come back to his senses and be aware of the danger. But he had conflict of interests right at that moment, thinking Tian entering the world posed a greater threat than the 9-fold thunder tribulation. The best outcome was for him to get struck by lightning in this remote place. But the MC used his medical skills to help treating his hidden ailment. So he couldn't just leave it at that without returning the favor. And what he just did was just a favor for the MC, so as not to leave a demon in his heart in the future. The MC was trying to carefully remove the needle, making sure that he wouldn't leave any more needles like the last time. But the old man was thinking that even though the first couple days of the thunder tribulation wasn't that strong and he'd be able to run away with his disciples, however, he needed to stay and keep an eye on Tian and see how things develop. That night, the MC was standing at the peak of the mountain and screaming as loud as possible to attract the thunderstorm and was holding his favorite conductor, the pan. He was saying that he was totally prepared for that and the thunder shouldn't show any mercy just because he was delicate and it needed to give it all to strike down him. However, up in the sky, Heavenly Thunder Spirit was furious for spending the whole night to take down a mere donkey but wasn't able to land a single hit. He was sure that if he increased the voltage of the electricity, he would be definitely capable of frying the donkey. He charged up enough electricity and was searching for the donkey to take his revenge. But donkey was nowhere to be found. Instead, he found the MC who was waiting for the lightning to strike with a smirk. That made the spirit even more furious. This time he decided to hit the MC before finding the donkey. The lightning was fully charged, so he planned to take him down with one strike and find the donkey later. He attacked with the max lightning because he was so angry. This time as well, the lightning blew off the whole cliff. It was for sure that he was destroyed. The pan drops to the ground as the sunlight came through. The morning came, and everyone was just plain disappointed. The MC left frustrated that he couldn't achieve his goal again. The spirit was even more furious than before. Because of today's charge was still too weak, he promised that he'd double it and destroy everything tonight. Frustration grew day by day. He wasn't able to get the MC on the third night, and it was the same for the next night as well. Nothing changed in upcoming nights as well. Night 5, 6, 7, even the 8th night was no different. Finally, the 9th day arrived. The old master was surely depressed because he was sure that it's be over tonight. He originally wanted to see how long the MC could endure the thunder tribulation, so he stayed to watch. But the MC actually held on until the 9th day. He knew that even a tiny bit of it leaking out could probably turn the three of them into ashes. He asked his disciple how was it outside. Sierra was watching the thunderstorm from outside while Senior's sister was sitting in the bed worried of tonight's outcome. She said that the lightning in the sky was so intense, crackling like it's more powerful than the previous days. Senior's sister asked her master that with the ninefold thunder tribulation being this strong, why the MC still provoked it every night. She wondered if he was using the thunder tribulation to cultivate some kind of technique. He answered that the MC was not as simple as they think. For now, all they had to do is just observe and see how things would unfold. The thunder tribulation dragged on for 9 days and its destructive power and range reached its peak. There was no escaping for them now. The old man hoped that the MC could endure its full power and gave them a slight chance of survival. The MC was sitting at the peak of the mountain with his favorite pan, and his clothes were already torn apart by the continuous 8 days strike. Even it was 8 days in a row, he felt no sensation, not a single amount of pain. The furious spirit, on the other hand, brought all the heavenly tribulation lightning that he could find. The spirit was so sure that with that much power, he could finally erase the MC from the face of the earth this time. He recharged everything he got with anger because he could no longer tolerate the humiliation. And it hit the MC who was holding the best conductor of all times. The lightning struck him from all the angles. Finally, he started to feel something. He felt tingly sensation all over his body that made him so comfortable. He really liked the feeling of getting hit by the lightning. It was so great. The donkey and the owl were watching the MC enjoy himself. They were lazing around in the corner of the front yard. The donkey asked what the owl was doing here. The owl replied that she was here to watch the master play and it's quite entertaining. The donkey girl insulted the heavenly tribulation that was probably a few hundred leaves in terms of power level in this world. How could it possibly harm her master? The owl said that there's a hidden law on this leaf continent. Knowledge was power. Over the past 100 years, the knowledge the master acquired may seem like mere information, but it filled the Boda tree and made him feel invincible. That lightning strike couldn't possibly harm him. He was enjoying the lightning massage while the donkey girl was talking about that her master was so powerful he must have cultivated for hundreds of thousands of leaves. Why was he having so much fun with those 3 weaklings? How much advantage have they taken of him these past few days? The owl explained that the master still couldn't control the power within him proficiently. The things he made unintentionally absorbed the attack power. The food made with this absorbed power could bring significant benefits to ordinary cultivators. So he's just sharing it with them as a gesture of goodwill. The morning came and the MC was coming back from unsuccessful mission. He was under the heavenly tribulation all night, but nothing happened. He said the heavenly tribulation was not as reliable as the old man told him.